All right, we learned that when we are given two side lengths for any triangle, in order to find the length of the third side, we know that we can subtract the two lengths. So I can take 13 minus 5, and that'll give me my lower bound, or in this case 8. And then I can add the two lengths, and that'll give me my upper bound, in this case 18. So I know that the third side must be somewhere between 8 and 18. Now, it cannot equal 8 or 18, or I would just have flat lines. I wouldn't have a triangle. But this says that we are supposed to have an obtuse triangle. So the question is, what values are going to give us an obtuse triangle? Well, looking at this, 5 and 13 could be the two legs, or 5 could be a leg and 13 could be the hypotenuse. So we have two cases. We're going to go ahead and look at case 1, where 5 and 13 are both legs. So I have 5 is one leg, 13 is the other, and then we're trying to figure out what the length of the hypotenuse is. And if we know what the length of the hypotenuse is to get us a right triangle, then we know that it must be bigger than that to be obtuse, because when we talked about the hinge theorem, those doors have to swing open wider than 90 in order to have it be obtuse, which would make x longer than what we want. So I would have 5 squared plus 13 squared equal to x squared. So we'd have 25 plus 169 equal to x squared. When I add those two together, I get 194. And when we square root that, we get approximately 13.93. So we know that in order for this to be an obtuse triangle, it would have to be bigger than 13.93. For case 2, we could have that 5 is one of the legs and 13 happens to be the hypotenuse. So in looking at this one, we know that to find this third side in this case, to see what would make it a right triangle, we would have 5 squared plus x squared equals 13 squared, or 25 plus x squared equals 169. And in doing this, we get 144, which we know the square root of is 12. So now if x equals 12, we will actually have a right triangle. But we know that if 169, if the hypotenuse squared is larger than the two sides squared and added together, the sum of the two sides squared, we know that it's an obtuse triangle because the door swung out more. The 13's too big in order to make it a right triangle. So in other words, as long as x is less than 12, we know that we're going to have an obtuse triangle in this case, and as long as x is greater than 13.93 approximately, we know we're going to have a right triangle in the first case. So we will go back to the original idea that it has to be between 8 and 18, and we can conclude that we know we will have an obtuse right triangle for the values of x where x is between 8 and 12, as well as if x is between 13.93 and 18. All of those will result in our obtuse triangle.